2019 is well in the books by now, which means it's time for me to do what everyone else has long since done. Make a video talking about my favorite games of 2019! 2019 was a garbage year, but it had some pretty good games. I want to do something different this time and just talk about some of my favorite things without putting them in any sort of ranking. Like, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in 2019. Heck, so did Shenmue 3, which is pretty weird, but I got to put so much more time into KH3. I've beaten the first game a couple times and tried to get into Chain of Memories here and there, but all of that was in service of me coming to the party years after they came out, trying to understand what people liked about them so much. KH3 is where it clicked for me and I finally understood. This game's visually nonsensical combat and tropey way of preaching about friendship and companion amounted to a game that I just couldn't put down. Before release, every fan of the series was saying that someone would need to play through 37 entries to understand it, but honestly most of the plot was so simple that I really had no issue at all. If you're like me and have been intimidated and just want to see what it's about, I totally recommend KH3 as a way to dip your toe in the water. It has a frenetic, kinetic energy to it that's almost always pushing you forward to the next combat scenario that still excites me thinking about it even now. KH3 did the impossible not just by finally releasing, but by making me care about Kingdom Hearts. Speaking of getting into things I wasn't into before, I've always been awful at first-person shooters, and if you ask my friends the Golden Bolt, Token Geek, and non-content creating Justin, I'm still pretty terrible. But soon after KH3, Apex Legends burst into the Battle Royale space and became one of my most played games of all time, full stop. I'm actually really glad that PS4 has no way to track how many hours you played a game, because I'd probably hate seeing how much of 2019 I lost to this game. This game is directly responsible for me, Bolt, and Token not uploading as much as we wanted to last year because it was so easy to just ping each other on Discord throughout the week and hop on to try to get another win. I've tried Fortnite and bounced off it pretty quickly, but Apex just feels so good to play. Like, borderline scientifically engineered to not only feel fantastic to control, but so many of its matches have such a great rhythm of landing, looting, happening upon an enemy team, and just scraping by to be one of the last teams remaining. Well, when you're not landing and immediately dying, at least. We also have our fair share of matches where we just straight up don't see anyone until top 3 or 4, and then eke out a win through absolute nonsense, but those moments of nonsense are such a great euphoria that even almost a year later I'm still itching to keep playing. I wouldn't say that Apex is my favorite game from last year, but it's undoubtedly one that would not let me go. Their previous game, Titanfall 2, hit PS Plus in December, and we all got together with our buddy Nico to try that game out too. It's a different flavor, but it also has incredibly addictive online play with one of the best campaigns I've played in years. Respawn is on some next level stuff with these games, and I'm looking forward to giving their Star Wars title a fair shot at some point. Speaking of Star Wars, I went and watched that. It was alright. I enjoyed Mandalorian much more. Overall, I didn't see many new movies in 2019, which, looking back, I regret. I had a good time watching King of the Monsters with most of the local Find a Computer Room crew, and Detective Pikachu was basically a Hollywood shitpost, so it was pretty memorable. I also watched Joker a few nights ago, which turned me into an incel. The best time I had in the theater was by myself watching Promare, though. Depending on the day you ask me, Gurren Lagann is my favorite anime series, so seeing something new from those creators after missing Kill La Kill was very exciting. It's basically like if Gurren Lagann and Burning Rangers fused together to make a film. It's full of personality, fun characters, and enough high-octane chaos and style to more than satisfy me. Plus, Mike Pollock is perfectly cast in this movie. It was a highlight to finally see something in a theater that he was in, especially since the Sonic movie probably isn't brave enough to give him a cameo. On the note of style, I want to shout out a game called 1980X. I've seen literally no one I know mention this game. I haven't beat it yet, so this is more just a PSA that it exists. 80s nostalgia is sickeningly in vogue at this point, and this game totally capitalizes on that, but it feels more personal and less financially motivated, which is refreshing. The premise is a teen monologuing about discovering an arcade and playing through throwback games based on old classics with a variety of genres. I think some of you all will enjoy this, and the price seems right on it. I'm trying to get through the shmup part myself, but I'll make some time soon to work through it. I'm a bit of a sucker for those loving throwbacks done right, and I don't think anything from 2019 exemplifies that concept more than Resident Evil 2. Well, maybe Devil May Cry 5, that game is fantastic too. I'm not really familiar with Resident Evil. I streamed the PS4 port of the first game's remake last year, but borrowing this new remake from my buddy Alex really opened my eyes. I hadn't even seen the original game before playing this one. If I didn't know anything about games, you could have fooled me that this was an entirely new game. Its first half is certainly its strongest. Exploring Raccoon City's police department filled me with dread, while also regularly building me up by finding ammo, new weapons, solving puzzles, all to get beaten back down into my place and being filled with dread again. And when Mr. X entered the equation, I had to put the game down for a couple nights. I was so stressed out. Eventually I soldiered through, but I haven't felt like this playing a game since PT, but that game was at least an hour long. This was an entire adventure. And all of this with me having seen Alex play through most of the game already when it came out. Just a phenomenal game in every sense. I'll never forget it. Musically, I'd like to shout out French producer Madian. I've enjoyed his work since hearing one of his songs licensed in the first Forza Horizon, and if you've played PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, you've heard his early stuff there too. After a long wait, he finally released his second album, Good Faith, back in November. It's a very short album in comparison to his first album, Adventure, which was a monstrous collection of complextro, hints of a dreamy atmosphere, and a general focus on creating a break from EDM norm. Good Faith instead focuses on the experience of earning joy, of being already through a difficult time, as opposed to being in it or getting through it. It's a decidedly different soundscape. Dreamy but grounded, certain but unsure, focused on feeling, all the while being markedly Madian. After waiting so many years for it, it's a bit short, with one of its tracks being cut out entirely even just a few weeks before it released, but it's such a personal feeling album that I can't really complain. It was accompanied with a tour, Good Faith Live, that mixed the new album in with the old one and an overpowering visual package. I've selected some of the less intense moments for this video, but I dragged Alex along with me and pretty much turned him into a fan on the spot. It was an assault on the senses, but also very inspiring. I walked away from it wanting to create something someday that makes someone else feel the way I felt during it. I can't wait to see what he does next. As I begin wrapping this video up, I'd like to shout out a couple games I started, enjoyed, and got distracted from at places that make them hard to return to. RPGs are so hard to come back to after a long break, and both Fire Emblem Three Houses and The Outer Worlds were games I was really digging, but life tore me away. Three Houses characters are such a joy to spend time with, and The Outer Worlds made me feel like I was back in high school discovering Oblivion again. I mean that in a positive way. I loved Oblivion. Sometime in 2020 I'll get back to them and wrap them up, but at the moment I need to focus on other things. As for other shoutouts, I still recommend the games I've covered this year. Shakedown Hawaii, SteamWorld Quest, Disc Creatures, Hob, and Judgment are all worth your time. Judgment in particular is still one of the best games I played all year. If I had to pick a favorite of the bunch, though, Anodyne 2 Return to Dust still feels like the most important game I played. It's certainly the one that stayed on my mind above all else. It's just as touching as its world is gripping, and I still lose myself thinking about the game's themes and potential what-ifs its plot implies. I have my video for it still, so I won't go on about it all over again here. Just know it was good enough for me to buy both the very limited cassette and physical editions. Of course, I already had a Steam copy that Sean, one of the game's developers, gave me for review coverage, but I want more people to play it. So in that spirit, and as a thank you for anyone who cares enough about what I say to get this far in a video, the first person to enter this code into Steam gets to own it. All I ask in return is that you come back to this video to tell me what you thought about the game after you've experienced it. I'm really looking forward to 2020. The threat of new consoles looms on the horizon, and no matter what, that always makes for an exciting time. I was already anticipating March 2 as a huge Animal Crossing fan and as someone dying to try out the FF7 remake, but just a few days ago we got a remake of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon announced for that month too. I adored that game when it came out, so you know I'll be wanting to put some time into that. A month from now, we finally get the Yakuza 5 remaster, and in April I'll probably be back over to Alex's to watch him play the Resident Evil 3 remake. In theory, Digimon Survive also hits this year, which I'm increasingly curious about. The Sega side of things is exciting me too. When Streets of Rage 4 hits, I plan to link up with FTA from Find the Computer Room to give that a solid run through, and localizations of Sakura Wars and Yakuza 7 should be out sometime this year too. I also think we'll see something from the Sonic series late in the year. If my hunch is right, we should be getting some interesting announcements. I'm excited to see how people will react. 2019 was a slower year for my channel, but it was also a big year for it. I still feel really good about the Friends of Mineral Town video I made. The Little Town Hero video instantly became the biggest video I've uploaded, higher than the Game Explain Yakuza reviews, and made my channel monetized again. And my Sonic Adventure video is one of the ones I always wanted to make. People are still finding it and resonating with it, which makes me very happy. I also snuck onto a few other channels this year and videos I'm still happy about. My Crash Team Racing video with Bolt is sadly still relevant, and linking up with Moriarty of Crymore Gaming took the Nicholas video I'd been prepping from just alright to something fantastic. This year I'd like to sneak those guys onto the channel and bring a few more people in somehow. I'm hoping for 2020 to be more consistent, covering more Sega properties, things I'm interested in, and finally debuting Monstalgia. All last year I told myself I'd cover more monster raising games and never did. It's happening this year. Thanks for tuning in and being patient through my constant worming through different series and styles. Sooner or later I'll figure things out. That or I'll just keep things shaken up constantly. Either way, I appreciate all my viewers and patrons who have helped keep this show on the road. Thank you very much.